Hey lovely one, Lauren here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you're doing really well and didn't miss me too much since I went away on a little YouTube break. But I'm back and I have a delicious little slow flow for you today. Aiming to be about 45 minutes on the mat. We're going to start super slow in a child's pose and gradually build ourselves up and really thinking about opening up through these tiny little spaces within the body. So through the shoulders, the chest, the armpits even, the soles, the feet, and really just allowing ourselves to kind of take up space, be loud, be beautiful, be bold. And yeah, I really hope you enjoy it. You don't really need anything else for this practice, just your lovely selves, but it's always handy to have a couple of blocks nearby just in case. But no worries, if you don't have any, feel free to improvise, bring anything else in that you think might suit. Okay, so let's come on down to a child's pose. Take a moment to kind of maybe separate the knees about mat distance apart, bring the big toes together to touch back behind you, send your hips back towards the heels, and then in your own time you might softly start to walk the hands out in front, melting the heart down towards the mat. You can either continue to reach the fingertips forwards and maybe the forehead touches down towards the ground, or you might keep the arms a little bit closer in, and in fact you might stack one hand on top of the other, using that as a little platform for the forehead to rest on. Beautiful. So as always, we take a moment to just softly arrive here. Notice just how we feel in this moment. It's always in these first few moments of our practice where it can take a little bit of time just to really feel into both the body and mind. As our external world starts to quieten down slightly, things in our internal world might get a little bit louder. Might be physical sensation, perhaps a part of the body that's calling out for a little bit of attention here. Or maybe it's our thoughts within the mind that start to get a little bit louder here. Perhaps trying to pull us away from the moment. We might be thinking about our day, what we've got coming up next, or maybe the rest of the week. Just gently, each time, bringing yourselves back to this moment. And maybe it's the breath that gently guides us back, that steady inhale, steady exhale. And don't feel as though you necessarily need to shape the breath into any particular pattern here. Just letting it naturally ebb and flow. And again, already we might feel that soft expansion as we take that beautiful, fresh, clean air in, sending it down to the very pit of our belly. Lungs inflate, ribcage expands. Lovely, well done. Feel free to let the breath be audible here, so you can take those beautiful sighs out through the mouth. Again, let yourself be loud here. It's okay. And let's start to maybe just gently let go, let the body soften. Notice our edges start to soften. The body might even get a little bit heavier here. And anything we might be holding on to, maybe it's tension, stress, or maybe fear or uncertainty, doubt or confusion. Whatever it may be, gently seeing if we can let go of all of that. So imagine it kind of seeping away from you now, letting it melt into the mat. Maybe even beyond the mat, down into the earth, and let the earth take it away. So let the earth take away whatever is no longer serving you here. And maybe the earth gifts us something in return. Maybe the earth brings us whatever it is we need. Maybe it's just a little bit of courage, grounding, support. So we can be in this constant exchange of letting go and receiving. Letting go of what no longer serves and welcoming in whatever it is that's serving you now. Again, we can stay with those slow, steady breaths. Perhaps feeling as though we can breathe just a little bit more deeply now, maybe. Let's go for one more deep, nourishing breath in. Deep breath out. Lovely. And as we inhale here, softly starting to rise. So peeling the head away from the mat or the back of the hands. Let's push down through the hands that start to rise. Lift up into tabletop for a moment and then nestle the knees together. We're going to tuck all 10 toes under, so even the pinky toes, making sure they're not getting left out here. So you might even need to reach back behind you and make sure those pinky toes are also tucked under. And then keeping the hands down towards the ground for a moment, starting to again send hips back towards the heels. You might already notice the stretch through the soles of the feet. And then over time, just seeing if we can start to maybe creep the hands a little bit closer. Beautiful. Lifting up that little bit higher, maybe we come onto the fingertips. Maybe we even bring our hands towards our thighs so we can grow tall. And here is this first moment where we really start to stretch out through the soles of the feet. If this feels uncomfortable for the knees and kneeling isn't that perhaps accessible to you, one thing we might decide to do is placing a block or a rolled up blanket or towel in between the sit bone and our heels. It just lifts the hips slightly. So that might be an option you decide to take here just to kind of maybe alleviate this intensity of the stretch. Keep the shoulders rolled back and down. Let's take a breath. And an exhale. Beautiful. Whilst we're here, let's start to open through the front of the body. So the hands might come towards your lower spine, squeeze the elbows together, lift up through the heart space, maybe lifting the chin to look up to the sky. Beautiful. Take a breath. As we exhale, maybe we stay here, or maybe we interlace the fingertips and send the knuckles away, slightly deeper stretch for the shoulders. Beautiful. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Maybe lifting the hands away from the back body. Take a breath. Beautiful. Let's exhale, softly release the hands. Let's circle them all the way out in front. Tuck the chin towards the chest. Imagine you're hugging a nice big beach ball here. Beautiful, round through the back. Take another inhale. And an exhale. Inhale, softly open the arms out wide. Spread your wings. I know we're feeling this through the feet. Bear with me. Take a breath. As we exhale, maybe we kind of lean up and over to the left-hand side. Now, if you're sitting on a block, the ground might feel a little bit too far away. So you may incorporate another block to bring that left hand down to right arm up and over. Beautiful. Keep the hips back towards your heels. We're nearly there. Breath in, breathe into the side body. Breath out. Fabulous. Let's inhale to rise all the way up. We can take it to the other side, so passing the block from the left to the right, leaning into that block on the right hand side, left arm up and over. Take a breath in, take a breath out. Lovely. One more inhale to rise all the way up. And it's going to be really tempting to rush this, so again, slow it down. Maybe starting to creep the hands down the thighs. Starting to reach the fingertips down to the ground. Really well done. If you had a block underneath you, gently place it to one side now. Okay. And as we shift the weight forwards towards the fingertips, gently peel the feet away from the mat and just give those toes a really soft wriggle. Lovely, well done. That was a deep stretch for the feet here, and it can feel quite intense as time goes on. Let's take a moment just to kind of shake that off a little bit. So rotate through the ankles, keep wriggling through the toes. Or maybe we take a moment to tap the tops of the feet down towards the mat. And again, don't be afraid to make a little bit of noise here. So tapping the tops of the feet down towards the mat just helps again alleviate that pressure through the feet. Beautiful. One more breath. And then as we exhale, tops of the feet now come down towards the ground. We're again going to send our hips back towards the heels, maybe not using a block this time. But if this is uncomfortable again for the knees, there's a couple of things we can do here. So either you're going to push the fingertips down to the ground, and you might think about kind of lifting the knees off, sending the weight back. You may do this without the hands. You might bring the palms of the hands together, and again, leaning back, see if we can draw the knees in towards the chest, aiming to get this stretch across the front of the ankle. So we just stretch through the soles of the feet. We're now going the other way. Or you might prefer to just work one knee at a time. So you might bring right hand down, left hand to the left knee, and just draw left knee into the chest. You're stretching through the front of the left ankle first of all. Beautiful, and you can stay there for a breath. As we exhale, softly placing left knee down, left hand comes down, we change, right hand to right knee, draw it in. Lovely, well done. Let's go one more inhale. One more exhale. Lovely, carefully lower that right knee down. And then gently walk the hands all the way back out in front. We're going to re-tuck the toes, but don't worry, we're not coming back to that toe stretch. Let's start to send the hips high to the sky. Let's come into a little downward facing dog. Okay. So this stretch through the back of the legs might feel really welcome here if the legs have been curled up for quite some time, both in our child's pose and in kneeling. So let's take a moment to have this little, almost a little dance in our downward facing dog. So you can pedal out through the feet, lift high up onto the balls of the feet, then exhale, maybe pressing the heels down, bending in one knee, then the other, and as we do that, maybe there's also that little sway in the hips from side to side. Beautiful. Finding all these places of stretch, so as we sway the hips, we might notice a stretch through the side body maybe. Head can hang heavy, so shake the head, nod the head. Lovely, well done. Take another breath. And an exhale. As we breathe in, let's look forwards towards the fingertips, bend the knees. Let's softly make our way to the top of the mat. One teeny tiny step at a time. Gradually coming to the top. Beautiful. So as we've woken up through the soles of the feet, maybe as we bring the feet to plant down to the ground, maybe we can really think about spreading the toes down and towards the mat, increasing that surface area, that connection to the ground. And our legs are our foundation. They're sturdy, they're strong, allowing the upper body to just drape over the legs. So it doesn't matter how far we fold, just let the upper body go. So you might catch hold of opposite elbow, sway from side to side. Beautiful, well done. And similar to our downward facing dog, we can welcome in this almost slow dance motion. Beautiful. Let's take a breath. And let's take an exhale. From here, softly bending through the knees. And again, we keep this heaviness through the upper body, but we're going to softly start to rise. So we push the feet down into the earth, start to stack up bone by bone. Fingertips can kind of trace up the legs here, growing tall with every moment that passes by. Beautiful. Head can be the final thing to lift, and as you get to the top, maybe there's that little shoulder roll. Roll the shoulders up, back and down. So that again, there's that little moment of lifting up through the heart space. Beautiful. As you come to standing, take a moment, notice, see what we feel, sensation, thoughts, energy, emotion. Just see what's present for you now. Doesn't matter what it is. Take a breath. And exhale. And then from here, very simply, we're going to make our way back down the way we came. And again, let's slow this down. Tuck the chin towards the chest. Take a breath. And exhale, we find that heaviness through the upper body. Shoulders start to roll forwards. Keep a little softness through the knees as we start to roll all the way back down through the spine. Lovely, well done. Feeling the spine lengthen as you go. Perhaps imagining each vertebrae is starting to separate slightly. Lovely, well done. Coming back into the fold, and maybe seeing we can fold just a little bit more, maybe a slight change here, subtle shifts within the body. And then we go again. Inhale, we bend through the knees, and we start to roll it through the spine. We're going to repeat this a couple of times. So I'm going to let you set the pace here, but try to keep it slow and steady. Notice if we have this tendency to rush. So once you get all the way to the top, again, shoulders go back and down. Take a brief pause. And as you exhale, you can make your way back down. If it's helpful to do so, maybe we repeat this movement with the eyes closed. So again, we can really draw the awareness in, continuing to let go of the external, noticing what's happening in our internal world. Release into the fold as you get there. And then when you're ready, make your way all the way back up. Lovely, well done. Continue to spread the toes down and towards the mat. Push the feet into the earth as you grow tall. And as we get to the top, we're going to take one more roll down and one more rolling back up. In your own time, no need to rush. Lovely. Perhaps as we're rolling down, we imagine this water kind of trickling down our spine, drip, drip, dripping our way down towards the mat. Lovely, well done. Again, we can pause as we get to the bottom, release through the lower spine. And then when you're ready, make your way back up. Lovely, well done. Now, this final time when we come to rise, how tall do we feel here? How steady do we feel? Head rises, loop the shoulders up, back and down. If you're not quite there yet, don't worry again. Keep going at your own pace. Beautiful. Take one more moment as we come to standing. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Lovely. We might flutter those eyelids back open. Welcome ourselves back into the space. Let's again either bring hands towards the lower spine here, squeeze the elbows together. Start to kind of drive the hips forward, thinking about taking the heart up to the sky. Lifting the chin, looking up, beautiful. Again, we can stay here if this feels comfortable, perhaps imagining you're squeezing a pencil in between your shoulder blades. Or if you want to go that little bit deeper, again, we might interlace through the fingertips. Stretch the knuckles away. See if you can lift the hands away from your back body here. So again, it might be that slightly deeper stretch. And then can we think about shifting the weight towards the big toes? Again, driving the hips forwards. Beautiful stretch for the entire front of the body here. Making sure we can maintain that steady breath. So if the breath feels restricted, scale it back slightly. Lovely, well done. Breath in. Breath out. Let's go one more. Breath in. Breath out. Let's slightly tuck the chin towards the chest. And then from here, soften through the knees. Keep the hands interlaced if that feels okay. And start to flip the body up and over, sending the knuckles up to the sky, diving down into this forward fold. Beautiful. And if we're happy to keep sending the knuckles high up to the sky, allow the weight of your hands to fall forward, so we might notice a deeper stretch through the hamstrings or maybe through the spine. Now, of course, if this feels a little bit too much for the shoulders, we can just release the hands, maybe down to the ground or may land upon the shins or the ankles. Lovely, well done. Take a breath. Take an exhale. Let's welcome back this little sway through the upper body, and maybe we might introduce a little pattern here. So as we kind of sway to the right, bend through the right knee and draw your right knee towards the right shoulder. So you might twist the upper body slightly to the left. And then when we go to the other side, it's left shoulder to the left knee. Twist the upper body to the right. Beautiful. And you can repeat this a couple of times, softly drifting from side to side. But of course, if you'd rather not work with that pattern, or maybe there's something else or another way you'd like to sway here, of course, feel free to do so. Take a breath in. And take a breath out. Lovely. Let's gently release the hands all the way down to the ground if they're not there already. Let's inhale, find a halfway lift. So we're going to bring our fingertips to our shins, rise up, flat back. Thinking about sending the crown of the head forwards, tailbone reaching to the back. Still a little bit of softness through the knees here. Take a breath. And as we exhale, we're going to ripple all the way back down. Fabulous, well done. Let's bend the knees, plant the hands, and simply step it back down. We're facing dog. Beautiful. So again, taking our time as we come into this down dog. Maybe that slow dance creeps back in. Little bits of movement here and there. Beautiful. Come back to that nourishing breath. Take a deep inhale and a deep exhale. And then let's ground down through the left foot. Inhale, send the right leg up to the sky. Kick the right heel away. Lift up through the inner right thigh. And as we exhale, right knee comes in towards the chest. Let's shift the weight forwards. Gaze in between the hands. See if we can softly step right foot. Maybe in between the hands, but if it kind of stops a little bit further back, guide or wriggle the toes a little bit further forwards. And let's gently lower left knee all the way down to the ground. You can untuck those left toes. And then when we're ready, let's brush the fingertips along the mat. Reach up high, low lunge here. Okay, well done. So in this low lunge, we might stay fairly right angle in right knee, right angle in left knee. Thinking about tucking the tailbone under, a little bit of activation through the glutes. So you might notice that stretch across the front of the left hip flexor straight away. Or maybe we need to think about wriggling those right toes a little bit further forwards and gliding the hips further forwards and down in order to find that stretch. Beautiful. Go however far as feels comfortable. Again, the legs are our foundation. They're steady. Upper body is kind of free to be soft. So if you want to, you might even take a couple of shoulder rolls here. Arm circles, or just let them kind of dance in the air, sway side to side. So there's opportunity here to welcome in any little bits of movement that feel good for you. It doesn't need to be anything precise. If it's stillness, that's totally fine here. It's just an opportunity to explore. It doesn't need to look pretty. In fact, it can look really messy. Lovely, well done. Tune into your own body here. And then wherever you are with whatever it is you're doing, take a breath. As we exhale, let's softly melt the heart all the way down. Hands land either side of that right foot. You may want to bring a couple of blocks in here. Again, doesn't matter if we don't have any. And then starting to push down through the right foot. Lengthening right leg to bring the hips back over that left knee. Lifting right toes up to the sky, coming into a half split stretch. Beautiful. So we've got this lengthening through the back of this right leg. Think about sending hips to the back of the room, heart reaching forwards. Lovely, well done. Keeping the hips square. So we might think about sending or pulling right hip back, left hip forwards. Lovely, well done. Okay. Let's take a breath. Take an exhale. All about those slow, steady breaths today. One more deep breath in. Deep breath out. Well done. Let's gently soften back into that right knee, making sure right foot is firmly planted down to the ground. And then we're going to kind of windmill the arms. So let's the right arm start first. Right arm reaches up to the sky. Left hand is going to follow. So imagine something's pulling you up by your right fingertips as we lift the chest, but coming into this twist to the right. So right arm is reaching to the back of the room, left arm is reaching forward. Again, we can stay right angular with the knees, especially if this is feeling a little bit wobbly for us today. Or we might think about gliding toes forwards and down, sending the hips down towards the mat. Beautiful, keep the heart open, shoulders soft. Full breath here. Full breath out. Maybe right hand lowers down to the back of the left thigh. We might reach those left fingertips up and over, keeping the twist to the right, gliding the hips forwards and down. Well done. Breath in. Breath out. And then nice and easy, very simple, we're going to cartwheel the arms all the way down. So left hand lands this time. Right arm comes up and over, and again it comes to the outside edge of that right foot. Move blocks out to the side if we need to. And then very gently, we're just going to tuck left toes under, lift the left knee. Go ahead and slide that right foot all the way back next to left. Back into your downward facing dog. Each time we come back into this downward facing dog again, we can notice what feels different, what feels the same. Lovely. Take a moment to find what feels good in your body today. Okay. Let's go for one more inhale. One more exhale. From here, let's keep that right foot planted, shall we? Inhale, left leg to the sky. Take energy out through that left heel, lift up through the inner left thigh. Exhale, tightly draw that left knee in towards the chest, start to look forwards. See how softly you can plant the foot down in between the hands, or maybe wriggling that a little bit further forwards. Let's lower right knee down and tuck in those right toes. And when you feel ready to do so, brush the fingertips along the mat, lift up through head and heart. Low lunge. Okay. Beautiful. Now again, we have all the same options here, so finding right angles in the knees, or maybe sending those left toes a little bit further forwards, finding space for the hips, finding that stretch for you. It's going to be different in all of our bodies. We're all unique here, so what works for me might not be the same for you. Again, there's always a chance to just explore, see what there is. There's this freedom through the upper body, so if you wanted to, you can open the arms out to the side, send them up, or just have this little dance around. Beautiful. Choose where we, or kind of notice wherever we send our focus or send our energy is going to change where we feel this in the body. Lovely, well done. As always, it doesn't need to look like anything precise. It doesn't need to look particularly graceful. Just making sure the movement feels good in your body. Lovely, well done. And then wherever we are, let's take one more breath. One more exhale. And then melting the heart forwards, hands come down to land either side of the left foot this time. Bringing our blocks in if we found that was helpful. And then starting to send the hips back, lengthening through the left leg this time. Half split stretch, and maybe those left toes lift up to the sky. Beautiful. So again, sit bones reach towards the back. Heart reaches forwards. You've got this length through the spine. Not only are we lengthening through the hamstrings, the back of that left leg, but growing tall through the spine here. Lovely stuff. Really well done. Full breath in. Full breath out. Allow that breath to help circulate that prana, that energy, life force around the body, rejuvenating every muscle, bone, cell. Beautiful. One more. Okay. Let's sink back into that left knee. Slow and steady winds the raise, planting that left foot down towards the ground. And then we windmill the arms. So left arm is going to start to sweep forwards and up. Imagine something's pulling you up by the left fingertips. Right hand starts to get light on the ground. And then eventually it lifts all the way up. So left hand reaches to the back. Right arm is reaching forwards. We're in this twisted low lunge on the other side. And again, you might be kind of fairly upright here. Or you might think about creating space for the hips to glide forwards and down. Beautiful. Finding this nice long T shape or nice long line from one arm to the other. For the energy kind of spread across the collarbone, all the way through the shoulders, all the way out through the fingertips. Beautiful. Breath in. Breath out. And then maybe left hand floats down to the back of that right thigh. Right fingertips might sweep up to the sky. Keep the twist to the left. Beautiful breath. Exhale. And then we start to cartwheel the arms all the way back down. So right hand lands. Left arm comes up and over, gradually all the way back down towards the mat. So we can take our time through each transition here as well. Sometimes that's where the magic resides, in how we transition or shift from pose to pose. Beautiful. Let's tuck the right toes under, lift the back knee. Simply slide left foot all the way back next to right. Downward facing dog. Have a little wiggle, a little groove if you wish. Okay. And take a full breath in. Full breath out. Let's inhale to look forwards towards the fingertips, bend through the knees. Let's steadily make our way back to the top. Beautiful, leaving that footprint behind with every step, maybe focusing on leading heel to toe. So rather than just walking on the balls of the feet, we use the entirety of the foot here. And eventually we come back into our forward fold. We can hang here. Okay. Breath in. Breath out. And then similar to what we did before, let's push down through the feet, bend through the knees, and start to rise all the way up. Stacking up bone by bone. Lovely, well done. Head rises. Again, we can take a shoulder roll. Beautiful. And then I thought, just in the middle of our movement practice, let's take a moment to find stillness. We've been dancing around the mat a little bit, finding softness, finding ease. Now, amongst all of that, let's take a moment to really connect. So as you stand here, you might keep the arms down by your side, or maybe one hand to heart space, one hand to belly. Doesn't matter which way round you go, just go with whatever instinctively feels best for you. And again, even as our body is physically still, there's this movement. We can feel the chest softly rise and fall, ribcage expanding, contracting. So always in this state of flow. We're always shifting, changing, evolving. And as we especially start to softly emerge into springtime and the world around us is shifting and changing, we too are changing here. We can feel this sense of alignment as we connect to Gaia, Mother Earth, observing the beautiful flowers blossom and bloom. We too have the opportunity to flourish and grow here. So again, taking a moment with the breath to feel yourself flourishing here. And always as those seasons ebb and flow, we do too. Take a few more breaths just as we are now. Go for one more inhale. One more exhale. Gently let the hands fall away from belly, from chest. Then we might take a big stretch, reaching the arms up, growing tall. Again, allow yourselves to flourish, take up space, maybe looking up to the sky. And as we exhale this time, let's softly dive it back down into our fold. So opening the arms, hinging at our hips, coming all the way back into that fold. Lovely, well done. Take a full breath in. Full breath out. And then starting to bend through the knees, sinking the hips down, and let the heels of the feet just naturally lift when they need to. Coming into this little toe stand, and you can keep the hands down to the ground to assist with that little bit of support, or maybe they're towards some blocks. Or maybe we can again start to rise, balancing on the balls of the feet, palms to hands might come together in front of the heart space. Moment of steadiness again here. Even as we shift and change, we can find these moments to pause, reflect. Lovely, well done. Maybe we can grow that a little bit taller, start to align your heart over your pelvis, sending the knees that little bit further forwards. Might feel a little bit trickier to balance here, that's okay. Take a steady breath. Exhale. And then gently again, let's try not to rush. We're going to send the heart forwards, bring the hands down towards the ground. Use the hands to help you to softly connect sit bones down towards the mat. Beautiful, well done. Okay, and then from here, let's come all the way down onto the ground. So starting to let ourselves unfold along the mat here. You can keep the knees bent, feet down towards the ground just for a moment. Let the whole spine meet the mat, meet the earth. Beautiful. Again, just notice. Take a breath. And an exhale. Just gently start to draw just the right knee into the chest. So you can take hold of the shin, the back of the thigh, whatever feels best for you. You can keep the left leg where it is, or you might start to kick that left heel away. Okay. Take a breath in. Take a breath out. And then gently starting to send this right knee across the body over to the left. Left hand comes to the outside edge of that right knee. Guiding it across to that left hand side, you might stretch right arm out to the right hand side, coming into this beautiful twist here. Lovely. See if we can still allow the body to feel heavy. Okay. Heart softly lifting up to the sky. There might be a couple of clicks, a couple of cracks here as we really ring out through the spine. And as always, if it feels as though we've gone too far, we can scale it back slightly. Let's take one more breath. One more exhale. And then as we inhale, instead of coming all the way onto our backs, we're actually going to continue rolling to the left. So you might circle that right arm up and over, and if you roll off the mat here, let's not worry about it too much. Continue rolling to the left and then push down through the hands to roll all the way onto your belly. So you might need to lift the heart space slightly here. Settle the forearms down. You've still got that right knee bent out towards the right side body. We kind of land in almost this Sphinx pose. We've got the forearms supporting the head and chest. We can take a moment to push the forearms into the earth, shoulders down and away from the ears. So opening up through the heart space here as well as within the hips slightly. Let's take another breath. And then as we exhale, let's send the elbows out to the side, ripple the heart all the way back down. One hand comes on top of the other. And then looking towards the right hand side, let's gently lower left temple towards the back of the hands. Lovely, well done. So we can again allow ourselves to rest here for a moment. And as we kind of roll on our mat a little bit, it's almost like the whole body wants to meet the mat here. Every part of you wants to meet the earth. So in this moment, the front body, the front of the left leg, the inside of the right, the hips, belly, chest, arms, they all want to meet the ground, and then maybe that's where the heaviness resides, the parts of the body that connect to the ground. But maybe the parts of the body that are lifted away here, so the back body, they might feel light and spacious. So we can be both here, we can be both heavy and light. So it's like we get the best of both worlds here. Let's take one more breath in. One more breath out. And then as we inhale, let's gently lift the head and chest. You're going to bring right hand underneath the right shoulder. Start to stretch left fingertips across to the right. So it's almost like you're threading this left arm underneath you. And then gently start to roll all the way back onto your back. Maybe you open this right arm out to the right hand side, but we come through this twist. So before the spine meets the mat here, maybe we come into this slightly deeper twist where that right knee kind of wants to be left behind. Lovely, well done. You can stay here for as long as you wish, maybe a couple of breaths or so. Again, deeply ringing out through the spine. And then when you're ready, you can continue to come all the way back onto your back. So you might think about stepping the right foot down to the ground. You might kind of need to pick up the hips a little bit, wriggle yourself back onto the mat if you feel like you've rolled off slightly here. Okay, so we come back to this kind of neutral place. Whole spine meeting the ground, back of the head supported. Lovely, right side might feel a little bit different compared to the left hand side of the spine. And then let's come on to the left. So left knee into the chest, wrap the arms around the shin or the back of the thigh. Hug it tightly in, maybe stretch the right leg away. Beautiful. And then let's start to send the left knee across the body, over towards the right. Left arm might stretch out towards the left hand side, right hand comes to rest onto the outside edge of that left knee maybe. Lovely, well done. Notice how it feels to twist the other way. Might feel more spacious here, or it might feel exactly the same. Beautiful. And again, just take another soft breath in. Soft breath out. And then let's continue our journey to the right. So circling that left arm all the way up and over behind the head. And then you're going to push down through the left hand to kind of unthread the right arm. So we can bring forearms down to the ground, right leg extends back behind you, and you've got this left knee lifted up towards the side body. So we arrive in this variation of Sphinx first of all, where we can push the forearms down into the ground, lift up through the heart space, shoulders down and away from the ears, and we're only going to be here for a breath. And then as we exhale, sliding the elbows out to the side, one hand on top of the other. Let's look to the left hand side this time, right temple down towards the back of the hands. Lovely, well done. Okay. And really all I invite you to do here is just rest, sink into the mat. Beautiful. Take one more breath in. One more breath out. Gently lift the head and chest again. And this time it's the left hand underneath the left shoulder. Start to push down through the left hand as you reach right fingertips across to left, thread it underneath you. And use that to help you roll slightly back onto your backs, but coming through that twist. So it might be a slightly deeper twist here. Maybe stretch the left arm out towards the left hand side. I'm not necessarily worrying if the left shoulder blade meets the mat just yet. Lovely. Let's pause for a breath in. Breath out. And then let's continue our journey all the way onto our backs. And again, if we've rolled off, do whatever you need to do to gently wriggle back onto the mat, but let the movements be as convenient as possible, so nothing too abrupt for the body now. And then once you've settled back onto the mat, let's come into our Shavasana. So finding a place again where we can deeply and truly rest here, whether that's with the legs extended or the knees bent. Arms might be down by your sides or hands resting on barely your chest. Find a place that suits you today. A place where we can surrender, knowing that we are held, we are supported here. And we can softly listen to that ebb and flow of the breath. Staying aligned with our internal world. Maybe we even start to feel our heartbeat here. This ongoing movement. Above all, sinking here, knowing that there's nowhere else we need to be, nothing else we need to do, apart from just be here. Gently take a deep breath in through the nose. Softly sigh out through the mouth. And again, deep breath in. Deep breath out. And final time, deep breath in. Deep breath out. In your own time, just start to wriggle through fingertips and toes. Allow the movement to perhaps build. You might take a stretch along the mat or draw the knees in, however you'd like to wake yourself up here. Might even be a good old yawn, perhaps. And then when we're ready, choosing a side, left or right, rolling to that one side. And then use your hands to help you as you rise all the way up, finding that comfortable seat. And again, your movement can continue to be soft without feeling the need to rush. Okay. Beautiful. Let's come to that comfortable seat. Sit bones down and towards the ground, palms, the hands resting upon the knees, shoulders slide down and away from those ears. Let's seal our practice as always with the final blessing. May the sun bring you new energy by day. May the moon softly restore you at night. May the rain wash away your worries. May the breeze blow new strength throughout your being. May you walk through the world knowing its beauty all the days of your life. And with that, the palms of the hands come together in front of the heart. And we bow. Oh, that was scrumptious. Thank you so much, YouTube yogis, for joining me on the mat today for that very spring-inspired slow flow. We are currently really blessed with some beautiful weather here in the UK, and I hope you are as well wherever you are. Hope you get the chance to get outside, get some vitamin D, and whatever you decide to do with the rest of your day, I hope it's beautiful. And don't forget, I'll be back on the mat with you next week with another free class. But if you fancied treating yourself to some really luxurious springtime practice or multiple practices, I do have a little class bundle available where we can really establish this beautiful home practice, shedding the cloak of winter, welcoming in the freshness of spring. All the details are in the description box below, and maybe I'll see you there. But if not, I hope to see you soon. All right, mwah, bye. Hey Yogi, thank you so much for practicing with me. I really hope you enjoyed your practice. Just thought I'd sneak in at the end here and say if you are wanting to practice a little bit more, if you perhaps want to dive a little bit deeper into the beautiful world of yoga, then the great news is that I'm offering one-to-ones online. So you can join me from the comfort of your home, me from mine, and we can get together either live online or I'll pre-record some classes just for you. And the beauty of those practices is that they are tailored to what you desire. So if you're just wanting to learn a little bit more about yoga, if you're a beginner and you're not quite sure what's what and you want to get a deeper understanding of anatomy or how the body kind of moves around on the mat, or maybe you're just wanting to try slightly different practices. If you're wanting to try yin yoga, for example, or maybe we're kind of building up the confidence to maybe return to the studio in person and we're not quite got that confidence just yet. So if any of those speak to you, or maybe it's something else entirely, do feel free to reach out to me. You can either check me out on Instagram, send me a message over there, or just send me an email, and I would love to practice with you. Whatever it is, I'd love to tailor the practice to suit you, suit your individual needs, and we can go on this little journey together. So as I say, all the details are below if you want to have a chat, and I hope to hear from you very soon. All right, lots of love. Mwah.